Ethiopia proposes the inclusion of Amharic as an official language of the African Union. Now, this comes on the eve of the AU official summit or the annual summit by the new Foreign Minister, Ambassador Taye Askeselassie. Hello, I am Mahlet, your host at Connect Africa, bringing you the latest from the continent. So as we all know, it's the AU summit time once again, as Addis Ababa is the capital of Africa, or the head of the administration of the continent. All leaders are convening here in the capital of Ethiopia, Addis Ababa, also the capital of Africa. So it was in the executive council of meetings that the foreign minister, His Excellency Ambassador Taye Askeselassie, has proposed for Amharic, to be as AU official language. Now, it says in quotation, in alignment with the AU Agenda 2063 and the goal for empowering indigenous African languages to contribute to our continent's progress, I wish to propose the inclusion of Amharic as official language of the African Union. So this was the statement from the Foreign Minister Taye Askeselassie on his remark at the 44th session of the AU Executive Council. Now, we also have to note that the Organization of African Union Charter, meaning before it becomes AU, was initially signed in 4 languages, which was including Amharic. Now, adopting Amharic, that was then, but then Amharic was removed. So adopting Amharic as one of official languages of the Union would honor Africa's linguistic diversity and strengthen our collective identity as Africans. So this is what the Foreign Minister Askeselassie has underscored in his remark of the 44th meeting of the AU Executive Council. Now, just to give you a bit of a background, in Africa, there are more than 3,000 languages are spoken. However, AU language are so far, it's 5. It's now Amharic, if it's adopted, then it will be the 6th language. But before that, we have all the languages, but not African. When the Organization of African Unity was established, there was Amharic in it, but after that they have removed it. So now these languages of the AU official languages are you have Arabic, you have French, you have English, you have Portuguese, and then later on they have added Spanish. That was recently. So all the 5 languages, if you see it, none of them are the African language. I mean, in a sense, okay, Arabic is also widely spoken in the continent, but all those languages are not indigenous language. They came from Europe, so it was adopted. It became as a language because most of the African countries, as a result of colonization, they have been speaking. It was imposed upon them, so they didn't have any other option except Arabic. Okay. Still, countries who speak Arabic, like Sudan, they have also their own dialect, they have also their own language. It doesn't mean that, those countries who speak Arabic, it's their language, but it might be their official language, but it's not their indigenous language for most of the countries. Now, except maybe the Northern African parts. But it's really sad, for the African Union. It's almost 65 years, or no, like almost 70 years, and then you don't have 60 years, right? Okay, what happened to me? It's 60 years, but you don't have the language of your own as an official language. You promote, and all the letterheads and everything are all the documents that are widely spread during the conferences are the colonizers' language, the language of European language, not really an African language. It was just last year at this time in February 2022 that Swahili was adopted as one of the African languages. That's like the fifth one. Then you have the fifth, actually the sixth one. Now Amharic becomes the seventh because we said we have French, English, Arabic, Spanish, Portuguese, five, right? Then Swahili is the sixth. Then Amharic becomes the seventh. Strange, like how come you don't have official language, adopting one of the African language as the African Union language? You talk about independence, freedom and everything. Our ancestors have achieved that, but you, the African Union, have stayed with the language. You couldn't even fulfill what African language, you couldn't even fulfill to include an African language. I mean, it's a baby step, but better than nothing. So congratulations to the Foreign Minister of Ethiopia to propose the Amharic language to be the African Union language, and even Swahili. It has taken time, and still, congratulations. What can we say? It could have been done much earlier, but it's good. Hopefully, we don't see the Swahili speakers. More than 11 countries in Africa speak Swahili. I really hope that whenever there is a conference in AU or in its organs of the African Union, that you are speaking Swahili, not English, because most of the Swahili speakers are colonized by Britain, and most of them speak English. I hope you are not using English, that hopefully you are using Swahili. I find it really interesting. Now, if we say why Amharic, Amharic is okay. It's spoken in Ethiopia, because some of you might raise that question. It's spoken in Amharic, but it is that only language in the continent which has its own alphabet, and it's there are many things in Ethiopia that are the first for the continent, being the ancient country, being uncolonized and having its own calendar, its own alphabet, being the ancient country where the human cradle was found, not only in Ethiopia but across the Rift Valley. Also, you found it in Kenya, I think. It's the first. It's the country that gave coffee to the world. Coffee is where it is found, and it's where the Pan-African movement was started. And we have the victory of Adwa, which gave not only a freedom, or not only the victory of Ethiopians, but it's a victory for the African people. All these things make the African, Ethiopia really special to the African Union, to be considered not only the language, but in various ways. So I think it's a well-deserved proposal. Hopefully the African Union will adopt this, and we will see Amharic letters in the letters, as a language used in the African Union. Thanks to the foreign minister. And please, I said there are more than 3,000 languages are spoken in the continent, and in Nigeria alone, you found 500 languages, by the way. So that being noted, please let us know in the comment section which African language you think should be adopted as an African Union language, and what's your view, or your reaction for, this proposal of Amharic language of Ethiopia to be adopted as the official language of the African Union. Let us know in the comment section. Thank you again for tuning in. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Give it thumbs up if you like what we bring you here. And please share the video with others. Let's empower each other with information and knowledge. So if you want to help us further, please again go ahead to the description section where you find our PayPal account. You can donate to our PayPal account. It is once again the time of that time in Ethiopia, where the African Summit, the African Union Summit is going on. Of the summit of the foreign ministers, the executive councils, the presidents, of everyone. So in fact, the meeting has started even since mid of January. Now we are towards the end. Now in the last 2-3 days, the leaders or the Africans, the heads of states, will have their meeting. I think it will be the 36th ordinary session of the African Union of the heads of states. Please tune in. We will bring you what are the agendas that has been raised there, and what are the the decisions that has been taken. There is a lot of tension. I'm sure we will see what South Africa will bring to the table. It has been leading in world affairs, but it will be a hot debated session, I can imagine. But hopefully it will be also a summit where they will take an action to what is going on in the continent. Yeah, it's a bye-bye for me now. Don't forget, to donate if you can, of course, to donate to our PayPal account, to subscribe, to give it thumbs up, and to share the video. It's a bye-bye for me for now, and I will see you on the next